Hey, I'm Jordan with Jordan Plays Blue, and today I want to talk about Everdell Farshore. Now, I'm not going to do like a full review of this game. Lots of that information is already out there on the web, and I'll start out by saying that I really enjoy this game. I really enjoy Everdell, the base game, and this is a re-implementation and iteration off of that base game. And I think this one is fantastic, and I will be keeping this in my collection. But review, whatever. I want to mostly today talk about who is Everdell Farshore for, because this, I've seen a lot of conversation about this online, and I just want to get my thoughts and opinions out there as well. And hopefully it's helpful for those that are considering about pre-ordering this or purchasing this to add it to your collection. I don't know. Is it worth it for you? So a couple things that I want to start out by saying. One, I don't think this is very different than base game Everdell. There's a photo going around. I'll show you the back of the rule book, but it has a list of what is different about the game. I don't think there is very much different about Everdell Farshore versus regular Everdell. The settings are a little different. This one is more kind of a coastal setting. That one is kind of in the forest setting, obviously. And there are some differences with how the game plays, the mechanisms of the game, what have you. There are some differences. I don't know which one I like better. I think they feel similar. They scratch the same kind of itch. I don't know if they, if this one is, I don't think Farshore is a streamlined version. I think they are just kind of a different iteration of the same game. You know, so I don't know. With that being said, I think that there are some folks that will think that this is a really great pickup, and I think there are some folks that probably won't feel like this is a really great pickup. So first, let's talk about the folks that I don't think that this is for. So first and foremost, I don't know if if Farshore is a game for folks that are really happy with Everdell. If you have base Everdell and you enjoy it and you're not really looking for anything different, anything, you know, you're really happy with that game, I don't think this is going to change your mind on it. It's not going to you're not going to like the base game any better. I don't know if if you play this one, you're like, I'm going to toss out the original version. I don't know if it's really for that. So I think if you're really happy with base Everdell, or you have a relative who just likes Everdell and are looking for something different, I don't know if this is different enough. I would probably just get them a different game, honestly, if that was what you're looking for. But that's definitely who I don't think this one is for somebody who's really happy with Everdell and is just kind of looking for something different. I don't know if this is different enough for that person. I don't think this game is for gamers who are really kind of skeptical of things, you know, because I think this one could easily be seen as a cash grab because it is so similar to the base game. The company has said that the Everdell is done, you know, and then they come out and really, you know, they have their complete collector's box, that kind of thing, which we'll talk about later. And then coming out with this version of Everdell, which feels just like a new base game. Are you starting the whole process over again, or are you just going to keep iterating on these base games? I don't know what the goal is, but I have some folks saying, you know, this is a cash grab. So if you're really cynical about that, I'd probably stay away from this, because you're just going to be able to perpetuate that prophecy that you've written for it, because it easily could be seen as that. So I think ideally, first and foremost, if you're a collector, you like Everdell stuff, you have the whole collector's box, you have all the expansions, you've backed them all on the Kickstarters and all that kind of stuff, this one feels like a no-brainer. You know, it is a new base game to play with. It is a simpler version that you can kind of pull out. I think this one works really well. If you are a collector, obviously you've already bought it, don't worry about that. But if you are somebody who has the full box of Everdell, I personally have a hard time with collector's edition boxes. I'm trying to think if I even have any behind me. I have a role player collector's box behind me. Once I get a collector's box, I often don't play the base game quite as much, because it is such a headache to kind of get through everything. Now, if you have the collector's box and it's fine that you're not playing Everdell quite as much, this one might work pretty well because it is a self-contained, no expansion kind of product. You can just pull this one off the shelf, everything is in here, play the game just like you would base Everdell. So if you have that kind of collector's edition and you feel like you're not playing it a ton, this might be a good one to have on your shelf just to pull out when you don't feel like rummaging through everything of the, what, 6, however many expansions they have of Everdell to get to a game. This might be a great way for you to do that. And then lastly, I think Everdell Farshore is a really wonderful jumping off point into the Everdell system, line of world, whatever, these line of games. I think this one is a great jumping off point. And this is kind of where I'm at. I have played base Everdell. I really enjoy base Everdell, but I don't actually own it. I have friends that have it. And I think this is a great way for you to get that Everdell experience in a different setting with some different mechanics that might be different in your collection, or might be different than the one that's in your friends' collections, or you've really heard about Everdell, but you don't know where to jump into because there's too many expansions. That can be overwhelming for some folks. I think Farshore is a great way, and I kind of hope that they don't add expansions to this one. I kind of hope that this becomes just a self-contained, go into the shore, play a version of Everdell, and kind of move on. I would actually love for them to do that. So I think if you are new to Everdell, or if you've been wanting to get into Everdell for a while but aren't really into the whole tons of expansions, collector's box kind of scene, you can get base Everdell, obviously, but you could also get Farshore, and I think this is a great jumping off point for it. All right, there you have it. I really do enjoy Farshore. I think it is a fantastic game. I rate it probably the same as Everdell, which is like, I don't know, an 8.5, somewhere around there. I think it's a fantastic game, definitely in like my top 100 games of all time. I think it's great. I will be keeping Farshore in my collection because I didn't own Everdell before I was able to get a copy of this. And so I will be keeping this one because I think it's great. My family really likes Everdell, friends really like Everdell, and I really like Everdell. So I think this is a cool version, but beware. It is not going to be for everybody, and I think a lot of people are going to have a lot of healthy cynicism when it comes to this version of the game, which I think is fair. But there you go. If it's for you, check it out. If not, play a different game. All right, I'm Jordan.